What's good, faves? It has been a minute, right, since I just sat down in front of the camera and just had a good food for your soul video. Well, tonight's our night. What's good, faves? It is your fave, Miss Renee. You guys, I am finally back with another blazing hot topic video. So, you guys, if you are new to the Fave Miss Renee channel, welcome. But if you are an old head and you know that the love is real here, so thank you guys for coming back to see me on my channel. Here on the Fave Miss Renee channel, excuse me, we have conversations based on love, life, relationships, mindfulness, and everything that is good for your soul. So, before we get started, go on ahead, sweetheart. Get you a chair, something comfy to sit in, something to drink. I got mine right there. And then just relax for a minute while we have a good conversation about something that can definitely warm your soul on a really, really cold winter night, okay? Also, before I go any further, let me make sure I do all my propers, okay? Y'all don't let me forget how I need to open up a good food for yourself video, okay? So I want to remind you, if you are new to the channel, to please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, all right? I'm growing over here, and I want you to go and grow with me. And the only way that is possible, sweetheart, is that you click the bell. All right, so that you're not just passing by, that the next time I upload a video, you'll see it first. It'll be in your notifications, okay? Make sure that you like and share this video. And definitely, you guys, leave me some comments down below, all right? So, let me get my drink because I'm slipping. My drink is usually right here beside me. So, I'll be back in 2.5. Okay, guys, I'm ready. That's good. Okay, so tonight's hot topic video is all about mommy issues. Mommy issues. So if you are new to the Fave Miss Renee channel, go ahead and go back down that library, that video library, just a few videos until you get to daddy's issues. Ooh, child. You got to watch that so you'll understand this, okay? Now, Daddy Issues is a true story. It is my story. And believe me, I believe in telling my story and living in my truth, sharing my journey and healing my soul. I believe that so much. It's tattooed on my arm. Okay? Yes, first tattoo I ever got. So, let me explain about mommy issues. Let's hope that I get through this without one tear. Not one. And I want to be as transparent and as crystal clear as I can be. Some of this information has just been has just surfaced. Some of this information that I am giving to you is information that I am just now truly understanding. So let me explain a few things to you, okay, without giving you everything that the book is going to have in it. I'm going to finish that book. Oh, yes, I am. All right, so just to give you a little history on my relationship with my mother. My mother was 14 years old when she gave birth to me, and 3 days later, she turned 15. Um, my mom was not living with her mother nor her father at the time of my birth, and we were both living with, I guess you can say, family friends. I guess that's as accurate as it can be. So, in essence, we were living in foster care. It's truth. So, I stayed in foster care until I was 7. And my mother, who had had me while she was there, she left. And my memory of mama living with me is non existent up until I was 7. I do not remember living with my mother. So I can say that when I did go home to live with my mother at the age of 7, my mother, who was a young woman that had been just terribly mistreated and had suffered so many different forms of abuse, neglect, emotional, verbal, mental. She had just been through hell and high water. And when mama left me there, she wasn't stable. She was kind of living from pillar to post, if you know what that means. Over here, over there, kind of everywhere, not really having a home of her own. So then I went to live with my mother. And then my mother was just a very disturbed young woman. In my opinion, she just never got the help that she needed. She never got the love that she needed either. So she didn't really know how to love. It's true. Well, that's the story of our lives. It's been one disastrous moment after another, just to be honest. Um, I guess, I guess a lot of the time I didn't feel love, and a lot of the time I felt like she hated me. Um, just to give you the most accurate, um, precise picture of what we had together, it was almost as if she didn't give birth to me. It was almost as if I did not belong to her. I wasn't her child. Of course, the first 7 years of my life, I lived with someone else, and I loved that woman as my mother. So, um, I guess my mother felt that I didn't love her either. I know. It's really tragic. It's very tragic and it's very sad the way that whole thing played out. So then I grew up feeling very distant from her. I grew up feeling that she didn't want me. I grew up feeling that she didn't love me. And then I felt like she hated me. I knew that I was an interruption in her life because she was only 14. She didn't know that she was getting pregnant just by having sex. No one had ever told her about her body. No one had ever told my mother, you know, if you have sex, you can get pregnant. So in reality, she really wasn't trying to get pregnant. I guess no teenage girl is, but my mother didn't even know that sex made babies. So she, in some ways, I feel, resented me. Here I am, this invader, tearing and disrupting her life, which was already in shambles, coming in uninvited and unwanted. So, years passed. My mother and I were always at each other's necks. It was never peaceful. It was always something. And I used to always feel like, how can you be so mean and evil towards me? I'm the child here. And as much as I would feel like I had valid points, and I did, I had some valid points, but I also was so judgmental. I was. I was so judgmental because I felt like she didn't give me the life nor the love that I felt that I deserved. And I picked her apart with my judgmental finger. This one right here. Oh, yeah, ma'am. Always judging. Just picking and picking and picking and picking. And I'm sure that by some of my judgment, I was also mean and bitter towards her. So just to give you, I hope, as much of an accurate picture of what my mother and I had, it felt like no love at all. It felt like two strangers that were bonded by blood, but had no real love for one another. That's just how it felt, you guys. Whew. So, I think it was 2020, last year. My mother used to always tell me, Renee, I lived a dog's life. I lived a dog's life, child. After I had you, I lived a dog's life. I was in the streets. I lived from pillar to post. I was dog's life. And you know, when my mother would say things like that to me, I would sometimes just look at her like, what do you mean, lived a dog's life? How does anybody live a dog's life? What is she talking about? You eating out of dog bowls? What? So 2020, I was sitting out on my patio and I saw this stray dog. Now I'm going to get through this without crying. Okay. But I was sitting on my patio and I watched this dog came into my view and I just watched the dog. I don't know why. I just saw the dog and I started watching it. And it would get in one space and it would sniff around and look for food, and then it would roam to another space and it would look around and sniff for food, and then it would just kind of run up a little bit, and I just kept watching the dog. I knew that the dog had nowhere to go, no one to love him. I knew that the dog was without a home, without a space to call his own. I knew that just by looking at the dog. I kind of felt sorry for the dog. And then I heard the voice say, "That used to be your mom." And I looked, and the Holy Spirit said, "That was your mom, Renee." Whoa. And I just kept looking at that dog. And I began to cry. I began to cry because I realized that all those times that my mother would tell me she lived a dog's life, and I couldn't understand what that meant. Watching that dog that day, I realized, and I started to have compassion for her. In that moment, I realized my mother's life was no walk in the park. She didn't have a white picket fence and a mother that baked cookies and a loving, caring father. She didn't even have a home. She didn't have a home. Uh-oh. Let me blink a couple of times. So she didn't have a home. She had no place to live. And she felt alone in the world. So that was the time that the Lord started giving me compassion for my mom. And although she wasn't very nice to me when I was a kid, I started to understand why she wasn't. It started to make sense. It all started to kind of come together for me. So I started treating her like I had compassion for her. Even though I don't always understand my mother, and even though my mother has battled with mental illness for most of her life, and not just her adult life, most of her life. Her childhood was so traumatic, and so many things have happened to her. The understanding that mental illness in itself is a trap. So, my mother got really, really sick also in 2020. And my brother and I had to go through I can't even describe how terribly hard it was for us to literally come to terms with how sick our mom was. My brother, you'll meet him in the video that I just posted yesterday. He is there. But anyway, we had to have our mom placed in the hospital, and then we had to put all of her things in storage, and then we had to have her placed in a nursing home, which was so hard for us. But our mother had stopped eating last year, really probably a year before. And I hadn't been talking to my mother, so I didn't know what state of mind my mother was truly in. So at 83 pounds is what she ended up weighing when we took control of her health and had her placed in a hospital, and then a rehab facility, and then a nursing home. So my mom being my mom, and again, she does battle with mental illness and now dementia. I don't know if that's the same or if there's two different, but yeah, that's where we are now. So, my mom has been given, at first in the nursing home, at first it was only my brother and I that could go get her and take her out on outings and then take her back. But now they're giving her a lot more leeway and a lot more responsibility and a lot more freedom, so she can kind of move around on her own. An adult will have to go and get her and bring her back, but she can move around a lot, and she's a lot more happy, and she's feeling a little bit more stable there. So I, with this whole new compassion thing, right? Learning compassion for my mother. No matter what I've gone through with my mom or because of my mom, just trying to be a better daughter, trying to live the walk that I really want to for the Lord, and really wanting to be a person that makes him proud. So, I've put a lot of things behind me. I put a lot behind me. I've said, okay, let's move on. Even though sometimes I feel like it's not reciprocated, even though I still feel like we struggle in so many areas of mother and daughter, I have said all of that needs to be buried and go away, because we can't keep living in the past on what happened, when happened, you did it, I did it. All of that needs to just stop. So it was Thanksgiving. And I was driving down the highway going to one of my schools. Excuse me. And I said, you know what? There's no way I'm going to let Mama stay in the nursing home for Thanksgiving. So I called her. She answered the phone, and I was like, hey, Mom. I said, I think I want you to come over. I'm going to pick you up on Wednesday for Thanksgiving and have you spend the night with me. And that way you can be with us and the family, and it'll be really good. And I was so excited about it. And she was like, oh, no, no. I've already made other plans. I was like, oh, pick your lip up, scoop up. right? Because I was like, oh, okay. And she said, yes, I've made other plans, and that's what I'm doing. So I said, okay. So I got off the phone. I called my brother. I was crying, of course, and so upset. I was like, why would she not want to be with me on Thanksgiving? She'd rather be with this person than be with me. There I go again. So I got in my feelings. I decided, you know what? I'm just going to stop trying. I cannot continue to put myself out there. And then she doesn't want it. Like, I'm tired of being this kid in her eyes, and in mine, I'm still that little girl that wants my mother's approval and wants my mother's love. So I said, I'm going to stop doing that, right? Okay, so I went on with life, carried on as usual, get back up again, right? And so Thanksgiving Day, I was in my kitchen. I had my music on. My candles were lit. People were coming around. My kids were here. I was having a good time. And I said, let me call Mama. It's only like about 12:30. Let me call Mama. Wish her a happy Thanksgiving. So I did. I called my mother, and she answered the phone. And I said, hey, Mama, just wanted to call you and wish you happy Thanksgiving. And my mother said, hey, baby, I'm on my way to your house right now. I was like, what? And she goes, yes, my cousin's bringing me over right now. We are on our way. We'll be there in a few minutes. And I was like, she really does love me. Just that little bit of love. That's all I really want. And so when they pulled up and they knocked at the door, and I went to the door, and there she was. I was so happy to see her. And my mother's a lot more fragile now than she's ever been. My mother was always such a strong-looking woman, and now she's more fragile. So I got her hands, and I guided her in, and I walked in front of her, and I made sure she took very small steps, and I guided her and got her into the living room and set her into the chair. And I was so happy. And you know, the enemy tried to tell me, when I called and invited her to come over, he tried to tell me, she doesn't love you. You need to just stop. Stop trying. She doesn't care about you. As you can see, she's got other plans. Even in the nursing home, she doesn't want you. But that was a lie. Because even though I didn't pick her up, and even though she didn't spend the night, when she left that nursing home that day, I was the first house that she came to visit. Not the second, the first. I was so happy that she came. I was overjoyed that she came. So, let me say this to you, and I hope that you really feel how I feel. We've gone through a lot, and I know some of you have gone through a lot with your mom. It doesn't make it okay that she's hurt you. It doesn't make it okay that she chose her man over you. It doesn't make it okay if she abused you. But we have to learn, ladies, we have to learn forgiveness. That's not saying that what you did to me is okay. That is not what that says. But it does mean I want to free myself from all of that. I don't want to continue to hurt over something that happened to me 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. I want to free me and I want to free you from that bondage. Some things that my mother cannot apologize for because she doesn't know. She doesn't know. She doesn't remember. Her stories are different than mine. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. What matters is I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to forgive it. I'm ready to live. I'm tired of hurting. I don't want to cry anymore. So I did. So about a week ago, I called my mom. I kind of had this same conversation with her that I'm having right now with you. She cried. And I cried again. Sorry, y'all. I cried again. And I realized, you know what? Even if we move on together and she forgets what we've already healed from, and she goes back to feeling and doing things that she knows is not right or hurtful towards me, now God is allowing me grace. I'm going to give her grace. I'm going to stop holding her to every little thing, because that's what I used to do. Every little thing. You did it again. You did it. I cannot deal with you. I'm going to stop that. Because now God has allowed me to see that mental illness didn't just happen yesterday. It's not new. It's been for a very long time, if not for all of my life, for most of my life. So, I don't know what your situations are with your mom, but I do know it can get better. Are you ready to forgive? Girl, let it go. I tell you, one day you're going to read about this. This was a whole lot that happened. I'm just going you the fast version, baby. I'm just giving you just on the top surface. Oh, child. It's been some hurt. But do you want to live in the hurt? Do you want the hurt to consume you? Or do you want to finally be free? Give her some grace. Give her some love. And let it go. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, guys. I hope that this video will help you. I hope that this video will benefit you in ways to help you decide, is it worth holding on to all the hurt and all the pain to prove a point, to make sure she knows she hurt you, to make sure that the world knows she hurt you? Or is it better to just let it go and move on and live and be happy and let it go? You guys, this life is truly a journey. And you know me, I'm all about going and growing. I don't want to stay stuck. I want to get everything that I got to get. And I want to help you get yours too. You guys. So at the end of this video, like right now, I'm going to put the clip in because I did a video of my mom when she came over for Thanksgiving. You're hearing my voice. It's like I was a kid and my mommy had came to see me. And I was very important to her because she came to see me first. Child, I hope this helps. Lord knows I do. I promise your greater is later. Just keep moving. Keep moving. So, the clipping is coming up right now, okay? But you make sure y'all stay woke out there. These streets, no love in these streets. Keep your heads up and your eyes open. And I'll see you next time on the next video. Happy Vlogmas Day. I think this is day 13. Mwah. Bye. Y'all are. Oh my God. She said I gotta have my girl. I didn't put in the false. Okay, cousin, look up. Beautiful, beautiful. Happy Thanksgiving, babies. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh my God. I'm so glad y'all came to see me. Yeah. All righty. I love y'all. Love you too. All right. I got it.